Good evening. I had to stay home today because I guess there was a big patch of ice over down the street. My bus driver wasn't able to come and get me today. Oh man, it's cold in here again. Thank God I'm inside. Anyways, um, had a shower last night, and then I was trying to hurry up and get ready and didn't go today. I can't get this out of my mind.
That's about as close. He just couldn't lie to his mom. You know, an innocent person just is going to say, come on. Of course not. Or no. But it was a long pause, and I might have seen. To me, that's as close a confession as you could get.
After a 2-week trial, Vaughn Ross was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to death.
To let you know it's not a such thing as a perfect crime. It's some kind of evidence somewhere. Absolute deeper.
Oh, my toe.
Can't give a person away.
Ross took every precaution he knew about, but it simply wasn't enough.
Finding the tip of the latex gloves would conclusively put him as the shooter. So without the science, I don't think he might have ever been caught.
I don't know where this case would have gone without finding the tip of that glove, because there were so many people involved that didn't tell the whole truth, that you could tell were holding something back, that may have wanted to cover up for someone else.
One of my favorite quotes is that when man commits a crime, God will find a witness.
To solve the murder, investigators needed to find the fatal bullet. But where was it? Could the laws of physics solve the mystery? If not, a killer would walk free. World War II. In the skies over Europe, American airmen fought a deadly and dangerous war. For every 100 airmen who flew missions over Europe, 70 never came back. One of the highest casualty rates in the history of warfare. Walter Yoakam was one of the fortunate ones.
He was in the 8th Air Force in World War II. He was a waist gunner in a B-17 and survived 34 missions over Nazi-held territory.
Yoakam risked his life and almost lost it countless times. But only his family and fellow veterans knew it.
He never talked about it, so I didn't know what he did in the military.
76-year-old Yoakam, a widower and retired accountant, lived by himself on the outskirts of Boulder County, Colorado. On a fall day in 1993, his housekeeper noticed something was wrong.
She went and knocked on the door, got no answer. She said it's very usual for him because he's a pretty punctual guy. Was never late, was always there when she was supposed to show up.
She went around the back of the house
Today is the
and decided to knock on the back door and noticed that there was a broken window. And she got concerned at that point and decided to notify the police.
Investigators from the Boulder Sheriff's Office discovered Walter Yoakam dead at the bottom of the stairs. He had been fatally shot through the neck.
I don't think I slept for a couple of days. It's hard to imagine somebody that you know has just been violently murdered.
It's
Outside, detectives noticed several clear foot impressions in the mud. Crime scene technicians registered cast for future comparison.
There was a particularly good set of photos that were cast from that. They were
27th
lug soles,
to
like
the
a boot, kind of a word boot, kind of a sole.
The point of entry was through a broken bedroom window on the ground floor. There
27th
were
to
muddy
the
footprints leading to the foyer. At the stairwell, detectives found gunshot residue.
ouch.
You could see that
exactly where
27
the
city.
shooter was standing at the time that it was Mr. Yoakum.
There was an empty gun holster upstairs on the dining room floor.
We called the son, who said, "Do you have any guns, and what were they?" And he said, "Oh yeah, because my dad had his .45, which he kept from World War II." He says everybody kept their guns when they left the army.
This was a distinctive gun. It was a Colt semi-automatic used by many World War II servicemen. Soldiers routinely scraped off the gun's serial numbers after the war. But Yoakum's gun was missing. So too was his credit card and some cash. Adding to the mystery was the awkward position of Walter Yoakum's body. He was lying on his back with his arms extended and his knees in the air.
Someone had come and moved him after rigor mortis had set in because he was nearly face up with both arms somewhat in the air, and gravity just doesn't allow you to do that.
This meant the killer was inside the house at least 3 hours, maybe longer.
Our working theory in the beginning was that this was a burglary, was interrupted, and what was really bad about that is that burglaries are one of the hardest crimes to solve.
The most bizarre clue was found near Yoakum's foot. It was the foil wrapper of a Reese's peanut butter cup. There was an empty bag of peanut butter cups in the refrigerator.
That's a cold-blooded killer. Having just murdered somebody, then go through the refrigerator and see what there is to eat. And then stand there and look at him while you're eating some of his candy.
Naked and Afraid goes global. National pride is on the line. Only one nation can win.
Man, I love this place. But when my dry AMD progressed to geographic atrophy, or GA, I was worried I'd be seeing less of it. My retina specialist told me that Izervay protects healthy retinal cells longer and is proven to slow GA. Which could help me see what I love for longer.
Izervay is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam.
With Izervay, I'm taking action to slow my GA, and seeing him out there means everything to me.
Ask your retina specialist how you could help preserve your vision longer with Izervay.
This is the true story of Alex. Recently promoted, he was earning more, but investing for the future, I definitely needed a plan. With his advisor Dennis, Alex invested his savings into 3 accounts. One for now, one for later, and of course, his retirement. A plan in motion put the future in focus. The wedding, the barndominium, kids, maybe kids. The point here, Alex has more than big goals for his future. He's got a plan to get there. JP Morgan Wealth Management.
21st,
Don't let heartburn get in the way of the food you
23rd,
love.
I think.
Get fast, powerful relief with Tums.
I think 23rd.
Everything's better when you love food back.
I think the 23rd.
Wherever your summer takes you, twist the ride. With Twizzlers, the twist you can't resist.
With Rogers, Canada's best 5G Plus network, I can share my favorite team with the world.
We're live. Okay, what's up, guys?
We have a wild episode for you today. Can you say hi to my mom?
Hi, Michael's mom.
Mom, you gotta hold the phone like way further from you. Sorry.
Okay, guys, this is what we got to. We got Go and Jay's on there.
So you made that?
I did, yeah.
23rd.
A new viewership record on the stream.
Oh, hey, look at that.
23rd.
The old record was 2. Want to meet all of you.
Shouldn't be that hard.
This is the Price is Right today.
Better than you had ever seen before. If this is right, he gets a car. We're gonna change someone's life tonight with big plays, big wins, and big money.
Join me on The Price is Right tonight.
Tuesdays on City TV or stream it on
from the crime scene indicated Walter Yoakum most likely heard an intruder, grabbed his gun, and was heading down the steps when the intruder shot him.
We get the investigation, it's an autopsy, and at that point we discover that the bullet's not in the victim's body. So it's like the next task for those of us going back out to the scene is we got to find this bullet.
This was a problem. Without the bullet, investigators would know nothing about the murder weapon and would have no ballistic evidence once they identified it.
Yeah, I was pretty busy.
There was one shot fired, and it went through the victim and out.
Time to write down anything.
Looked around, couldn't find a bullet. Looked in the gutter, couldn't find a bullet.
How are we gonna find this bullet? Because if it exited the house, you got literally acres and acres and acres of places that bullet could be, and it's a bullet that big.
To find it, investigators turned to the science department at the University of Colorado.
Once it enters the atmosphere, then it's not likely to change its configuration, although it might be tumbling. So the three things you need to know are the initial velocity, the initial angle with respect to the horizontal, and the amount of air resistance that you could expect.
We knew from the wound it was probably a 38, 357, 9mm, that middle size caliber. We knew it wasn't a 22, it was too big for that, and it was too small for a 45.
A bullet from these caliber weapons would be traveling at approximately 1,000 feet per second. But the bullet passed through a human body, went through the ceiling, then the roof shingles.
It's very difficult to determine how much energy is lost as the bullet passes through those three.
I went last Monday, last Tuesday, last Wednesday, and last Thursday I stayed in.
To study how much velocity was lost, investigators reassembled everything the bullet passed through. A beef roast was used to simulate the victim's neck. Behind it was a piece of plaster ceiling, and behind that was a section